Welcome guys, welcome to way2automation.com. So here we will be discussing about the most happening topic these days, that is Selenium. So most of the people have been asking me about what exactly is Selenium and what all it can do, or what can I do to make my career in Selenium automation. So in this video I have covered all the details about what exactly Selenium is and what do you need to do to mastery in Selenium automation. So the very first thing about Selenium is that it is not an automation tool. Yes, it is not a tool or a executable file like other tools we have, QTP, load runner, RFT, which you can have it on your machine. You can double click on it, you can install it on your system by just double clicking on it, and which gives you a platform where you can record and play and use various other features provided in that tool. So if Selenium is not a tool, then what exactly is Selenium? So Selenium is an API. Yes, so Selenium is basically an API, an application programming interface. So what's an API? It is a set of libraries, various classes and methods inside it, which we can import it in our project and access the methods and functionalities implemented in that library. So in some time you will be completely familiar with Selenium and all its major components. So let's see some of the features that Selenium provides. It supports multiple browsers like IE, Chrome, Opera, Safari and Firefox. Plus it supports multiple languages like PHP, Java, Python, C#, Ruby, Perl. But again, it does not mean that if your application is built up in C#, then you're learning C# to automate it, and then if it is built up in PHP, then you are again learning PHP to automate it. No, it doesn't mean that. You only need to learn one language to automate your website that is built in any language, right? So your website can be in any language, but you only need to learn one language. And you'll find that 90% of the people, 90% of the companies are using Selenium with Java. So Java is the most commonly used language with Selenium, and you will find 90% of the support on Google as well. When you search for any Selenium query, most of the responses you will get it in Selenium with Java. So if we talk about the language Java, the Java language is platform independent. A code written in Windows can be executed in Linux, can be executed in Mac and all other operating systems that supports Java. And same is the case with Selenium. So if we are going to write Selenium code in Java, then we can execute that code in any operating system that supports Java language. And not only this, we can integrate other APIs in our Selenium project as well, right? We can integrate Java frameworks like JUnit, Testng, and can use various other utilities like Excel reading through POE APIs, database connectivity, and we can use mail API for sending mails, reporting API, and also use behavior driven test with the help of Cucumber and JBehave. Plus we can build all major frameworks as well in Selenium, that is data driven framework, keyword, hybrid, and the most commonly used framework these days and which is in demand, that is page object modeling using the page factories, and that is supported by Selenium only. And also along with this, we can use various continuous integration components in our Selenium project, which are mostly used by developers, that is Jenkins, Maven, GitHub, SVN, Apache. So we can also integrate all these components in our Selenium to make a very powerful Selenium project. And not only these, there are many other things that can be integrated with Selenium to build a very powerful framework and a Selenium project which no other paid tool provides. And what else? Selenium is actually a future of functional automation testing. And there are many reasons behind that. One of the reasons is that it is open source. So no more costly licenses are required to work on Selenium. And it's completely backed by Google developers. So whatever development that is going on right now in Selenium, it's going on with the help of Google developers only. Google developers are working on this API. And the major thing is that it supports all major languages plus the operating systems, right? Which if you talk about other paid tools like QTP, it only supports VBScript, and VBScript only works with Windows, right? Whereas Selenium can work on all the operating systems which your language supports. Now let's talk about the components of Selenium. So there are 4 components that Selenium provides. One is IDE, second one is RC, which we call as remote control. The third one is Webdriver, and the fourth one is Grid. So if I talk about IDE, it's just an add-on to Firefox. So it's a plugin to Firefox. You can install it only on Firefox, and it will only going to support Firefox. It cannot work on Chrome, it cannot work on IE, it cannot be installed on any other browsers, right? Plus it's a good tool for record and play only. Why only for record and play? Because if you talk about large projects, you cannot handle large projects using Selenium IDE. Ultimately, you have to export the code that you have written, that you have recorded in Selenium IDE, and you have to use that code either through RC or through Webdriver. That is why most of the people who are actually working on Selenium, they don't prefer working on Selenium IDE. Rather, they use RC or they use Webdriver. Now Webdriver is the latest component of Selenium, and whatever development that is going on, it's only going on in Webdriver, and most of the companies are only working on Webdriver, right? So the next component, even if you talk about frameworks cannot be designed using IDE, because those are the Java frameworks. Frameworks can only be designed for Selenium RC or for Selenium Webdriver. Then if I talk about RC, Selenium RC came with many features. Features like it supports multiple browsers, it supports multiple languages, plus it supports multiple operating systems. And the Selenium core is dependent completely on JavaScript. Now let's see how Selenium RC works. So Selenium automates browsers. So it can automate any element on a web page using Selenium, right? So Selenium is specially designed for web-based testing. So it cannot handle desktop-based or any standalone application. And these days 75% of the applications are web-based because it's a time of cloud computing. So most of the things you will find on a web only. So any element on a web page can be automated using Selenium. So in order to locate element on a web page, Selenium RC injects JavaScript on the browser. And to support this JavaScript, we need to start a Selenium standalone server on our machine. On our local machine, on our local host, we need to configure the Selenium RC server. We need to start the Selenium RC server. That helps in injecting the JavaScript onto the browser in order to locate an element, right? So element could be, let's say if I need to click on a link, or if I need to type in a input box. So first of all, I need to locate that link based on some of its property. It could be a CSS of that link, it could be a name, a type, or it could be an actual location of that link on a particular web page. So first of all, I need to locate that element, then only I can use the Selenium RC method to click or to input inside that element. So Selenium RC injects JavaScript in order to locate or in order to click on that particular element. Now there are some drawbacks of this JavaScript. The one drawback is that JavaScript makes the execution slower, right? And JavaScript is not supported on many browsers. That blocks third-party JavaScript injection. For example, if we talk about IE is a highly secured browser, and sometime in IE, at the bottom of the IE page, on the left bottom of the IE browser, let's say if I open the IE browser, over here sometime you see that there is a yellow triangle that is basically a JavaScript alert, because IE does not allow any third-party JavaScript to be injected onto its browser. So in order to execute the Selenium RC code on IE, what we need to do, if we go to the settings and internet options, and over here in the security panel we need to uncheck all these enable protected mode in order to execute the Selenium RC code. So once we do this, then the application that have HTTPS certificates and SSL certificates, these applications are highly secured, and these applications will gonna stop work on IE browser. So these are the challenges that we have faced in Selenium RC while automating our application. And not only these, there are many other challenges that were faced in Selenium RC, due to which Selenium RC is now deprecated. It's no more in use, and Webdriver has replaced with the same. Right. So if we go to the main website of Selenium, that is seleniumhq.org. This is the main website of Selenium, and the very first thing on this website, it is written that Selenium automates browsers. That's it, right? So Selenium is only for the browser-based testing, and if you go over here, you can see that Selenium Webdriver is the successor of Selenium RC, which has been officially deprecated. So Selenium RC is no more in use. Although there are some companies who are still working on Selenium RC, as their projects are initially built using Selenium RC, but now most of the companies have already switched to Webdriver, and Webdriver is only the future. So you can even directly start with Webdriver without even learning Selenium RC, and it's a very stable version of Selenium, and it's completely backed by Google, right? So let's go back to the presentation again, and let's talk about some history of Selenium. So Selenium ID and RC was created by a person known as Jason Huggins, and he is at ThoughtWorks. So Selenium was initially a product of ThoughtWorks. In 2004 they came up with these two components, ID and RC. IDE for the record and play purpose, and RC for the coding purpose. Right. So the challenges that were faced in Selenium RC was overcome in Webdriver in 2006 by a lead engineer in Google named Simon Stewart. So Simon Stewart is the person who has actually realized all these challenges in Selenium RC, and he has overcome all these challenges in Webdriver. So if you want to go to the detail of like the history of Selenium, you can visit the main website of Selenium, seleniumhq.org, and you can go to the document section over here, and you can see the brief history of the Selenium project. So if you click over here, you'll find the entire history over here, how the Selenium project was initially started, and then why and what challenges that were faced in Selenium RC, due to which the WebDriver came into the market, and WebDriver has taken up the entire thing. So whatever development that is going on right now, it's going only in WebDriver, right? So now if we talk about the features of WebDriver, WebDriver also supports multiple browsers. It supports multiple languages, same operating systems, same browser. I think it does not support Opera. It only supports IE, Chrome, Firefox, and Safari, right? So WebDriver overcome all the challenges that were faced in Selenium RC, and how they have overcome all these challenges. If we talk about the architecture of WebDriver, they have completely removed the JavaScript injection from the architecture. And if no JavaScript is there, then there is no requirement of server. So there is no server in WebDriver. You can straight away write your code and you can straight away execute it. Right. So WebDriver comes with a very huge API. So there are so many classes and interfaces available in WebDriver. So in case you are working on WebDriver, your OOPS concepts should be very strong. Otherwise, you won't be able to work on WebDriver. So it has also provided the support for iPhone and Android based. It came up with Android and iPhone drivers through which you can automate your website on those platforms as well, right? And not only these, there are many other features which makes WebDriver a very powerful API, and that you're going to come to know when you practically start going to work on WebDriver. So if we talk about in more depth of how WebDriver architecture was designed, so WebDriver directly interacts with the native browser code. So for every browser, there is a separate class implemented. So let's say in case you are working on a Chrome browser, then there is a class called Chrome Driver. And if you're working on IE browser, there is a class called Internet Explorer Driver, right? So it comes with a huge set of API. And if you want to take a look at these APIs, you can again go to the same website, that is the main headquarters of Selenium. You can go to the download section, and over here you will find the Java doc associated. So if you talk about Selenium RC, then you need to search for the interface called as Selenium. So this is the Selenium interface, and it implements these two classes. This one is for Selenium RC, and if I click on this class, so you will see this is the only class which is used in Selenium RC, and it has all the methods over here. So all the methods are implemented in one class only. Method like click, method like double click, drag and drop, and method like, you can say, get title. Get title returns the title of a current page, and the other methods like open will open a particular URL, select will select option from a drop down. So these are the methods which we can use in Selenium RC to automate our web-based application, right? And if I talk about WebDriver, WebDriver is also an interface, and this interface is implemented by all these classes. So these are the classes inside which we will be using through WebDriver. For Firefox we have a different class, for Chrome we have a different class, IE different class, even for Android and iPhone we have different classes available. And not only these classes, there you'll find a list of classes over here which will be implemented in WebDriver, which are actually implemented in WebDriver, and we will be calling all these classes when we are working on a WebDriver project. Alright, so the last component of Selenium is Selenium Grid. Now what exactly Grid? Grid was designed mainly to distribute our test case to multiple machines. Let's say I have 4 machines in my network, and I want to execute my test case from one machine, and I want that test case should be executed parallelly on different machines, on all 3 machines. Let's say I have like 500 test cases that I want to distribute onto all 3 machines. So I can make one machine as a hub and the other 3 machines as a node, right? And I can distribute all these test cases for a parallel or sequential execution. So I can distribute it like 100 test cases should be executed on one machine, 200 test cases on second machine, and again 200 on the third machine. And all these 3 machines can have multiple operating systems running. Like machine 1 can have Windows, machine 2 can have like let's say Mac, machine 3 can have Linux, and all 3 operating system can have different browsers as well. So my code will be executed sequentially or parallelly on these machines. So Grid is basically for configuration only. The code that we are going to execute in Grid will be of either of RC or of WebDriver, right? So these are the 4 major components that Selenium provides, and you can directly start with WebDriver if you want to make your career in Selenium, because WebDriver is the latest one that every company is working on. But there are still some companies, I mean, where you'll face in interviews that you might like they might ask you questions on Selenium RC. So if you want to go through with the Selenium RC as well, then that's fine. It will Selenium RC is very easy to learn, and it will also help you in setting up your base for automation. So if you are not very much into programming, so Selenium RC is very easy to learn, but your focus should only be on WebDriver. So how can I master Selenium? So there are 3 ways which we can help you in mastering Selenium. The one is that we have a high definition videos recorded for Selenium, which covers your entire topics in Selenium that is required in market. So these videos are specially designed for the people who are beginners, who wanted to make their career into Selenium automation. So everything taught in these tutorials are from very basics till the advanced level. It covers your entire core Java topic. So if you are not familiar with Java, you can go through the Java tutorials first, and then you can work on Selenium IDE, RC, WebDriver, and then all other components that are integrated with Selenium. So you can be expert after watching these tutorials, right? So the other thing is that if you're not comfortable with videos, you can go for online training sessions as well, or you can go for, if you are based in Delhi NCR in India, then you can go for a classroom training session as well. So how the training program will gonna work? So let's say if I talk about our training program, so if you are a beginner, then you will be started from very basics, and then you will be provided with a practical and industrial focused training, and then you will be able to crack the interview and get the job in market. So if you are a working professional, then you can learn this new technology Selenium, and you can enhance your current skill, your current package. So Selenium is a really happening tool these days, and companies are spending like anything on a Selenium QA guy. So the other thing, if you are expert, then still you can enhance your expertism. And if the teaching technologies that we use in our center, we use interactive projectors. You'll get various PPTs and like the video sessions for our live recordings, as well as the pre-recorded videos on each topic. And plus we'll be sharing these mind maps with you. And that's it. And you can evaluate us by, just come to our free demo session, and you yourself will gonna realize that the quality of the training that we provide. So to judge the quality of the training, we always keep 2 sessions as our demo session. So you can try attending these sessions, and you yourself will gonna feel the quality of the training that we provide. And lastly, about me, I am Raman, and I am working as a lead automation engineer in one of the software company in Gurgaon, and I conduct these training sessions mostly on weekends or in evening timings, right? So that is about it, and thanks a lot for your